Hello everyone, welcome to today's Novedge webinar, BIM, Maximize Efficiency in Residential Design. This webinar will focus on how one simple BIM residential project can be shared, reused, exported in 60 plus formats to consolidate the process and make it more efficient using Envisioneer Construction Suite 14. Today's webinar presenter, Chantale Pitts, oversees the educational support, sales, and marketing programs within the Cadsoft organization. Chantale is a graduate architectural technologist and has also been involved in the residential design and construction industry for over 20 years. And now let me tell you a little bit about Novedge and what we do. Novedge is changing the way designers purchase 3D software, providing a simpler and faster experience and offering a huge catalog of complementing products. And this is happening all in one place at novedge.com. So check us out, and we guarantee you're going to like the process of getting 3D software from us. And for more daily software news, you can also join us and follow us on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. And also want to remind everybody that I'm recording this presentation so you can watch it again on our YouTube and Vimeo channel. And now I'm going to share, I will share Chantale's screen. Just give me a second and she'll take you over our BIM workflow. Enjoy.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you very much for the introduction today. I want to start off by just giving a little introduction to Cadsoft and who our company is and what we do. We produce 3D BIM software, and we've been doing that for many years. We have over 2 million copies of our Envisioneer software sold around the world in 4 different languages, and we've won numerous awards for our technology. Here's some of the different places that Envisioneer is available, and in the US, Novedge is our distributor. And you can find our copies of our different software on their site. Today I'm going to be showing you our Construction Suite software. It's fully functional with everything that I show you, but if you don't need all of those features, Novedge also resells our different programs, Envisioneer Pro Architect, which doesn't do all of the framing that I'll show you today, but does give you all of your working drawings and rendering capabilities. So how do we maximize efficiency in our designs? What processes can we do to make sure that when we're designing a home, we're making sure that we're taking advantage of the BIM model that we're producing? So I first want to start off with just a general overview of what is BIM. If we look at the process that we use to create a home and design a home, we used to do it by hand drafting. You take out your ruler and your pencil and you'd electric eraser and you get going and document what was needed to build a project. From 2D hand drafting, we evolved to 2D CAD drafting, making it an optimized process. You could throw away your electric eraser and you could just make quick and easy edits. Great efficiency in just making that big leap. From there, we progressed to making 3D models. And this became an efficient way of communication. New ways to solve problems by creating prototypes and looking at a 3D model. And then from there, we now have BIM. And BIM is about collaboration, making sure that everyone that's involved in a project can get information from that model. So many people think that I have a 3D model, I have BIM. If you're not taking advantage of the information and the connectivity of that BIM model, you're not using BIM. You're using a 3D model. So today I want to focus on how can we be efficient by taking advantage of that BIM model and being able to get as much information and share it in the process so we're not redoing work over and over again. So what are the benefits of BIM? Well, one is being able to do a 3D presentation. You get that from simply a 3D model. It can produce 3D images and VR experiences and engage that client with stunning visuals and realistic experiences. When you're using a true BIM model and you're creating them presentation experiences from it, the added benefit of that BIM model is it should allow you to add time of day studies into that presentation. So if your client wants to see what their kitchen is going to look like at 9 o'clock in the morning when they're serving breakfast, you can show them that time study, that sun study of where they are in the world and what time it is. So those presentations taking advantage of BIM information fed into the model should be even more stunning. Communication. When you're communicating with a BIM model, you should be reducing the amount of errors and surprises on site, because it's a graphical language and you're all working in the same BIM model. There aren't any of those surprises on site. You're not walking on site and finding out that whoever was doing the HVAC work cut a big hole in one of your structural beams because they needed to run ductwork. Those things shouldn't happen anymore. Everyone should be coordinated and be able to see everything about the model. So you're saving time and efficiency on site as well. And accuracy. The BIM model that you use should be able to hold cost information, SKU numbers, size, phase of construction, usage information about every single part that goes into that model. So if you're building a residential home and you're showing the floor should know that it has floor joists. And those floor joists are, let's say for an example, a 2x12. And those 2x12s have framing nails with a SKU number of XYZ. And all of the various parts that go into that should be able to be put into a list and itemized reports sent directly to your accounting systems or your point of sale systems if you're working in a storefront or lumberyard. Automation. Taking the information from that BIM model to automatically produce elevations, sections, floor plans, details that you're going to need for your permit purpose, and be able to submit those digitally. That's something we don't see as much in North America, the digital submission, but in other parts of the world, that's the only way that you could submit for a permit. You have to have a BIM model. If you don't submit a BIM model in Singapore or parts of the UK, you don't get a building permit. No longer do they accept paper plans. We haven't went that far in North America yet, but we should all be ready for that as well. The biggest key benefit of BIM is the integration. If I draw one model, I should be able to pull information to flow to all of the other pieces of software that I may be using or different workflows that I have. So if I'm doing cabinet design and someone else is doing the cabinets for me, and that cabinet shop is using one piece of software, I should be able to absorb their information in or export it back out to them. We should be able to share information. If I'm going to be building trusses for my model, I should be able to send my model out for truss design, and they should be able to use that model. Every time someone has to redraw something, you're losing efficiency. So that's why this BIM model should be intelligent enough to work in multiple workflows, multiple pieces of software if it needs to, so that information can flow through from start to beginning without the need for redrawing. And analytics. If you have a truly intelligent model, you should be able to pull statistics from it and analyze it for energy efficiency, sending the information from that model right to ResCheck, so you can get approval depending on the state you're in, if you need to, for the energy approval for that home that you're building. Again, pull directly from that model. So how do we do this? I'm going to flip to my Envisioneer screen, and we'll go through an example of how you can use an intelligent BIM model to be able to pull off all of that information that I was discussing. So you can see on my screen right now, I'm in Envisioneer Construction Suite. This is our version 14 of the software. I've got a simple model on the screen, a 2-story home with a separated 2-car garage with a bonus room above. What information can I pull from this model that I've drawn that I can share throughout the design process? Well, if I simply come up here to the View pull-down menu, I'm going to go to Framing, and then I'm going to go to Display Framing. The model understands that it is part of construction that requires 2x6s, 2x4s, all of the different framing members to go into the process. So I can strip away the finished materials and view all of the framing members that are required for that, just by going to Display Framing or Display All But. What value does that give me? Well, because this is a true 3D model, and if I just tilt this up just a little bit, with roof information that I can view, wall information about the model, I can send all of that information out. So I come over here to File and Export. I can directly take that 3D model that I've built and share it. Because I can share it, it's going to save someone time where they don't have to rebuild this model to start off in their workflow. So if I'm simply sending this model out as the 3D model because someone's not using Envisioneer, my structure team, my engineering team is using something else, I'll send them the 3D model, DWG format, AutoCAD DXF format. Maybe I want to send that out in SketchUp format, or I can send it out as an IFC file as well. IFCs is a way that we can all collaborate together. It's a unified file format that different software companies use so we can collaborate together. So I can simply just send them that 3D model. Maybe they're not using 3D yet. Maybe they're just using a 2D CAD package. If that's the case, I can send them a 2D DWG file, and they can open that up and continue on. By having this amount of work done for them, it saves them that redraw process. If they're using advanced 3D modeling software packages like Warehouse of Javelin, CSD iStruct, MyTech Sapphire, Boise BC Framer, Keymark software by Simpson and Simpson Component Solutions, I can send them the 3D model. By sending them the 3D model, they automatically open it up and analyze it and start creating the floor trusses, the roof trusses, anything that they're using those different packages for design purposes, it's automatically done, saving again the redraw process. They bring in that full 3D model and utilize it again. Again, saving them time by sharing for efficiencies. Again, I talked briefly at the beginning about sharing it with my cabinet shop. Maybe my cabinet shop's using 2020 kitchen design software. I can export this model out to 2020, open it up in 2020, design the kitchen, and then send it right back in here again so I can see the kitchen in the design. So if I'm working with someone, share the model. It shouldn't be closed up so I can't share the information and help somebody progress in different parts of the design process. The last one you see here is called Sketchfab Export. Sketchfab is a 3D viewer online, so you can view the 3D model online and navigate through it. Great way to do markups of your models. Send a link to your client, allow them to leave little sticky notes on the 3D model, notes, and then you can view that and take their suggestions and alter your 3D model. So you're not sending your client your 3D model because you don't want them to move things around on you, but you're sending them a copy that they can view online. They don't need software for it. They can just view it on their web browser and navigate through it. So they can get excited about the design and leave you some notes about it. Also, with sharing the model and sending out information, if I come to our Tools pull-down menu, I can analyze the model in different formats as well and sending it out to something like ResCheck. So if I do have to get an energy efficiency declaration on the design, and I have to send it through ResCheck. ResCheck is the US government software for doing energy analysis, this model will export directly out into ResCheck. It'll take the information that are behind the walls, the windows, the roof, and the floors, and send it out so you can finish off the information. So you don't have to manually key in all of the information about the U values and the R values of the different products. We send that out for you just by clicking ResCheck Export. With that, where is it getting the information then? I'm going to click on one of these walls, and this will key us into a bunch of information that I do want to cover. I'm going to look at the properties of this wall. In the properties of the wall, because this is a true BIM model, it's going to show us all of the information about this wall, including how it's framed. It's being framed with 2x6s. So when I went into that 3D view and we saw the framing information, it's because it looked here and knew exactly what frame member to use for that. That 2x6 also has information behind it that tells me that it is available in certain lengths. So if I want to order a 92 5/8 pre-cut stud length or a 16-foot board for my plate material, that 2x6 is intelligent enough to know which piece to order me depending on the usage that's set to it. If I scroll down in the properties here, you'll also see that it has cavity values for R value and continuous R value as well. So when it's looking at this wall, it's going to directly grab that information and send that out to ResCheck for you. Every wall has the ability to have that information set to it, so you don't have to, again, hand key in that information. We also send out information regarding material usage, and that's all found under this quantity tab. So any material that I'm adding to this model, so for this 2x6 stone wall, I've got stone and sheathing materials, house wrap, drywall, insulation, nails, paint and primer, and just some general measurements. That's materials that are in the background here. Every time I draw that wall, it's going to start to tell me just how many sheets of drywall I need, how many 4x8 OSB sheathing boards I'm going to need, and how many rolls of house wrap, because it's got this information behind it. And because it's got this information behind it, I can start sending that information out as well. So I can come back up to Tools and Analyze, and I can generate a project estimate. This project estimate that it sends out, if I'm just going to go back there and generate the report, it can be formatted in many different formats. So if you need to send the material report off to your ERP system or point of sale system, this file can be exported out in many, many different file formats. So if you're using Buildertrend or Constellation BuildSoft, CG Vision's BIM pipeline, all of the different pieces of software you see here, or simply an Excel file, this can all be exported out there. So this is a big time saver for anyone that is developing your estimates and ordering your materials. As you draw, everything gets populated into this list. And not just a general list of materials, but organized into phases of construction and then further subdivided by their usage. So you can see the usage of each item. So I've got anchor bolts into my sill plate. I need 77 of them, and it's happening in my foundation construction material. My ground floor system, my ground floor wall framing materials, all listed here efficiently, so you can order all of the different materials or send that information out, again, to simply Excel or the software pieces that I noted for you, or upload it to an ERP system, or here, generate quote, we'll send it to a variety of point of sale systems as well. You can also share the information by building wall panel diagrams. Because the model is framed, it can break itself down into individual wall panel diagrams. So right now I'm on wall 13. So if we look at my simplified floor plan in the lower right, the red wall that's highlighted is wall number 13. And to frame that, you can see the panel diagram it creates above. So if I insert that panel, it's going to create a panel diagram that I can share on site with whoever's building the project. So if I just close it here and look at that panel itself includes an elevation view of the panel to construct it. Directly underneath it is a plan view. And if I zoom in here nice and close so you can see a little bit better, each one of the members in that diagram is labeled with a letter. So if I look at all of the letters, you can see the A's here are my studs. They're 2x6 studs. There's 11 of them that need to be cut to this length. So every member organized in a nice little diagram as well to make building on site more efficient. We all realize now the issues that we're having with shortage of labor. So if we can make the labor on site a little bit easier, a little more efficient by building in little diagrams like this that help out those that might be new to the trade, it's going to make the building process even easier as well. You can even bring these into a factory setting. If you're working in panelized building, you can break these all down into the little panels you need and ship them out on site as well. I'm going to go inside the home right now. I'm just going to click on a view. I'm going to bring us inside the kitchen. So as I had mentioned, we can export out the model and then import back into the model a 2020 kitchen. We also have tools available under our interiors tab to put in cabinets and countertops and appliances as well. And the kitchen that you see in the design today was built directly in Envisioneer. It wasn't exported out. But another way to be efficient is if you recognize that you have a portion of your model that you may want to use again, something that we introduced in the latest version of Envisioneer version 14 is grouping and inserting groups. So I can pick a number of different items. So I'm just going to go around my model right now and just select a variety of different elements that I know I'm going to want to insert again into a future model. And as I select those elements, what I can do with them is I can group them together. So by right-clicking here, I can say, cut these out of this model and copy them into another model. So if you're doing a series of models that have similar features to them, the kitchen layouts may be the same, but the overall exterior faces might be different. Cut and copy from one model to the other. Save yourself some time. Or add them into groups. So if I add them into groups, and I'm going to call this my cabinet view, I can click OK here, and everything about that group is going to be added in so I can use it on another model. So it allows me to build up elements that I know I'm going to reuse over and over again in different models, so I don't have to redesign them. So if you have a favorite cabinet layout, perhaps the refrigerator and the bank of cabinets to form a pantry area around it is something that's common in your designs. People know your kitchens from that little trademark that you do. Don't reinvent the wheel every time you build a model. Save it as a group or cut and copy it out of one model to the next model as well. This will help you in your designs. I'm going to slip to another 3D view here. I'm going to go into our family room area, which is just off this kitchen. It's just over there to the right. When I'm in here, I've had the model in this view saved as a realistic view. And that's down here where I'm moving my cursor. So when I was in the kitchen, it was in a rendered outline view. This is a realistic view. What the realistic view does is it casts shades and shadows into the space. And those shades and shadows are determined by time of day and where I am in the world. So if I right-click on this scene, you can see I have scene properties. So if I have a client that is very interested in the sunlight that's going to be coming in windows, they don't want to be overwhelmed in their family room at 7 o'clock at night in the summertime when the sun's going down, that they can't see their television when they're watching their favorite show, you can show them what it's going to look like. So right now here to the right-hand side, I've told it that it's the 1st of October. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and this is the sun that's going to be filtering in here. I could change that time of day by clicking on this calendar and changing it to any month and time that I want to, so I can see that sun steady. By coming up here to settings and document settings and going to global, this is where I tell it where I am in the world and where north is. So it can use that hand in hand with time of day to make sure that it's adding in the correct shades and shadows. Currently, I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, but you can switch this to any country that you want. So if I switch this to the USA, I could go to any different major city that I wanted to. If I don't see the city that I want, if it's not here in my list, then I can create a new one. By clicking add here, all I need to know is the longitude and the latitude of where I'm located, and I can type in any city name there, and it will add it to my list. And then just show it where your north is, and it'll update the shades and shadows accordingly as well. So you can always show them different sun studies depending on where they are in the world and the time of day. And then do different studies, show them different times of day, so they understand what that room is going to look like. When you have those views, you can share them in a number of different formats. By coming up here to the view pull-down menu, you can render the view. So I've got it as a realistic view, but if I wanted it to be photorealistic and every material to take on its properties of glossy or reflective, I would create a rendering of that. And that rendering will take out all of those properties and give me a nice still image that I can share on my website, or I can email to a client. So it'll save it as a JPEG or bitmap. If I wanted to go one step further, I can render a panoramic view. A panoramic view is a series of renderings in a 360-degree circle that are shot from my camera, so that it creates a full 360 view of the room that you're standing in. I'm just going to go out to an example of that so you can see it on the screen. So here's a sample 360 view that was created in the software. So I can do it as an exterior 360 view or interior. So I can go to any room that I want to. I'll just grab an interior view here, and I can create those. And those 360 shots, again, allow me to share more of an experience with my client so that they can walk inside and see that 360 view and feel what it's like to be inside that space and walking around it. So it's a great way of getting them immersed inside the space. If I come back up to view, we also have a presentation mode. So if you have an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive and you have it hooked into your computer, by going into presentation mode, you're inside that model and you feel like you're walking around. A great immersive experience that you can share. That helps to automate the entire process by allowing clients to visualize. If you have a hard time with a client that can't visualize, by immersing them in a scene, it helps them to understand what that view looks like and should expedite the process. Instead of sending 2D prints or sketches to them, this gives them a very realistic experience where they're immersed inside the home, so they feel like they're there, and it should expedite the process for you as well. Other than file sharing, another great way of being able to be more efficient in your designs is by automating the process. So I'm going to put this model back into a 2D view. When we look at processes, we should be able to automatically dimension a plan, and it should automatically go around the exterior, just like the dimensions you see already around my plan. We should be able to take advantage of terrain information as well. Building in a site plan, I'm just going to do one quickly here. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen that I can type in the actual northing and easting and distance information with my plan, but I should be able to incorporate that site plan in very quickly as well. Not only just the 2D site plan, but site information as well. So if I have the topo information available from a field recorder, I should be able to import that. And that will take the terrain and add in the 3D mesh. So when I'm out in 3D, I can see the different levels of the terrain. So if I have all of those various spot points, and I know at the back of the plan, it's going to go down 2 feet or up 2 feet, depending, I should be able to bring in that terrain information as well. And then simply just from all of that information that you fed in, start creating the 2D plans that you need. So if I want to start creating my elevations and sections and details, I should be able to just pop it into a view, add in my hatch patterns to that view, and be able to put those onto a working drawing sheet to print those out. So there's various views that you can do for that. Or I can put it down into a 2D view, and in that 2D view, I'll be able to send out those to my working drawing sheet of sections. So with the sections on the view, I'll be able to put those different section views that I create into there as well. Reuse that information, don't have to create it again. If the model changes, if there's updates, a true BIM model will be able to update and handle those as well. So one BIM model should allow you to be more efficient in your design in all the ways that I've shown you so far today. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and just kind of recap the information that we covered. So why automate? Why use a BIM model in your design process? It's because when everybody tries to work together effectively from the earliest phases of design, when you're first putting down that concept design, the results are incredible. You reduce your overall cost and time through better communication, the elimination of duplication of efforts, and most importantly, better quality custom renovations in new homes because of all of the thought process you've put into the design. Start off in your sales and marketing by engaging the customer with that 3D model. And then move on from there into your decor center, taking that same 3D model and immersing them in actual experiences and 3D views so they can make better decisions. And because it's an intelligent 3D model with material reports attached to it, you should be able to get instant quotes and link that to point of sale systems at lumber yards so ordering becomes more efficient. And because again, it's a 3D model, you'll be able to create automatic elevations, sections, details, and update your permit drawings. And then send it out for engineering. Send it to MyTech for the trusses. Send it out to Weyerhaeuser Javelin for your floor joists. All of that should be automatic and part of the process so they don't have to redraw. And then link it into those point of sale systems and accounting systems. If you're using something like Buildertrend, or you're using just simply Excel, take the information from that model, send it out in those reports, and then link it up with SKU numbers from custom catalogs and create your framing diagrams. And then you can even supply your client with their finished 3D model so they can view it. So in the future, if they want to do a renovation project, or they simply want to see different paint colors on the walls, they'll be able to do that. So a seamless, engaging experience today is what people are looking for. Everyone's shopping and doing things online, so you should be able to download that VR app and show it to someone on their smartphone, or use those 360 views right to their smartphone. Send up the experiences to their decor center that might be on their website, and then they can share it on social media and give them that 3D home. What I'd like to do now is answer any questions that anyone might have about the efficiencies in this process or what they can do with their own BIM models. So if you do have any questions, feel free to speak out and ask them at this point, or use the chat panel so that we'll be able to answer your questions as well.
Yes, Thank you, Chantal. There's a question tabs in the control panel, and you can type in your questions or comments. In the meantime, I want to thank Chantal for taking us through this process. That was very informative, and it's very comprehensive. Wow, what an all-in-one tool. I'm impressed, I have to say. And let's wait a couple of seconds because people maybe don't, they're satisfied with the presentation, so they don't have any inquiries, but we're still here. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. In the meantime, if you don't mind, Chantal, I'm going to take the screen back. So
Yes.
while we wait, and I'm going to start our conclusion by thanking everybody who attended today. And while we'll still wait for those questions or comments, I want to show you the page where you can find Envisioneer on the Novedge catalog. I want to remind everybody that Novedge is changing the way designers purchase 3D software. And in fact, we provide a simpler and faster experience and a huge catalog, as you can see if you come visit us at novedge.com. So I don't see any questions. I want to invite everybody to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all the social media out there. We're there too. And I want to remind everybody that we've been recording this demo, so you can watch it again or share with your colleagues or boss. Just look for Novedge on Vimeo and YouTube. Thanks again for your presentation today, Chantal. Looking forward to the next one.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody.